I'm Jack Myers. I'm not a political expert, but I am an expert on media and the effective use of media for propaganda and influence. I've been following Donald Trump's media mastery for decades. As a candidate and president, Trump's controlled the on-demand TV news cycle and has mastered social media. He and his Republican cronies can't be defeated with sound bites and news clips or with issues and ideas alone, but by capturing more social media and news attention than Trump. With no candidate, and especially Joe Biden, likely to threaten Trump's skills at media dominance, what is the solution? In this guide, I'll share why I believe Trump is vulnerable beyond his political missteps and mismanagement, and how the strategy to defeat Trump can be a guide for every Democratic candidate this November. So how can Democrats overcome Trump's media mastery and win? In 1966, Ronald Reagan said, "Politics is just like show business." If we've learned anything from Trump's campaign and presidency, it's that politics, government, and public discourse have become, first and foremost, show business. The high road, filled with better ideas, serious issues, and relevant priorities, pales by comparison to a powerful and compelling media presence. Now, it's a historical, philosophical, and political mistake to believe that ideas and issues alone will win this election. My mentor and media ecology professor at NYU, Neil Postman, in his 1985 classic, Amusing Ourselves to Death, Public Discourse in the Age of Show Business, which, by the way, inspired Roger Waters' 1992 solo album, Amused to Death, indirectly offered a solution. He wrote, "Embedded in the surrealistic frame of television news is a type of discourse that abandons logic, reason, sequence, and rules of contradiction. In the parlance of theater, it's known as vaudeville." Now, Donald Trump did not invent political vaudeville, but he sensationalized and fused politics with a new style of political show business that fulfilled the masses' need for constant stimulation. And not coincidentally, vaudeville originated in beer halls, where the, quote, coarse and sometimes obscene shows were aimed toward a primarily male audience, end quote. Trump's defeat will come only when the media has a more entertaining and sustainable story that captures center stage and pushes Trump's performance to the sidelines. Now, what's the strategy for news domination? Robert MacNeil, the late and legendary PBS News anchor, described television news decades ago. "The idea is not to strain the attention of anyone, but instead to provide constant stimulation through variety, novelty, action, and movement. Complexity must be avoided. Nuances are dispensable. Qualifications impede the simple message. Visual stimulation is a substitute for thought, and verbal precision is an anachronism." That's the most apt explanation of Trump's success that we're likely to ever have. While the political process will continue down its overgrown path to November, there's no requirement that the party and candidates can't reinvent a new news story. Rather than charging into a one-on-one, mano-a-mano campaign focused on all that Trump and the Republicans have done and will do wrong, unprepared and underfinanced, Democrats can plan ahead and take control of the media narrative. I believe the death of vaudeville is a guide to the end of Trump. How? We can look to the death of vaudeville for answers. Encyclopedia Britannica reports, in 1896, motion pictures were introduced into vaudeville shows as added attractions and to clear the house between shows. They gradually preempted more and more performing time until, After the advent of the talkies about 1927, the customary bill featured a full-length motion picture with added acts of vaudeville. The growth of radio and later television contributed to the rapid rise and the rapid decline of vaudeville and to its virtual disappearance. Democrats need breakout political entertainment that dominates media attention and forces Trump to become an added act inside a more entertaining Democratic-dominated attraction. Let's own the political stage with a new cast of political characters. Neil Postman wrote, "Television's strongest point is that it brings personalities into our hearts, not abstractions into our heads." The Democrats' greatest advantage is the visibility of candidates during the primary season, and that a nominee was identified before the COVID-19 outbreak. Democrats, led by Biden, must highlight the accomplishments and qualifications of his former Democratic rivals and Democrats like Mario Cuomo and Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who are proving they can command the public's and the news media's attention, bringing them into the spotlight as the future of the nation's political establishment. Immediately announce the team, a vice presidential partner, cabinet members, close advisors, crisis managers, an economic recovery team. Shift the media narrative away from Trump and a Trump-dominated reality show. Serve the news media a large cast of political superstars in the best and greatest reality show ever. Let them take control of the nation's leadership now by focusing on the performance, the lack of performance, of the show that's now commanding the stage. Let's replace vaudeville with a full-length feature. A team always defeats an individual. Through social media advertising and search engine optimization, Democrats can feed the media's appetite for spectacle. As the cast of Democratic appointees focus media attention on Trump's revolving door of acolytes and his family, Trump will inevitably demand more and more attention on him by increasing the heat, the attacks, the negative campaigning, the lies, all while Democrats deflect, refocus the story arc, and win the media's attention. Politics today requires minute-by-minute media staging focused on generating TV ratings, news dominance, and social media impact. Democrats need to keep Trump and his team off guard, bring down his collaborators and defenders one-on-one, and create confidence in a new cast of personalities who will take the stage in January. In times of war, say the political apologists so, we need to give our leaders the runway. Well, if Democrats want to win in November, now's the time to take control of the stage and do everything possible to minimize Trump's rhetoric and noise. Deliver new news day by day, minute by minute, second by second. Neil Postman believed, if politics is like show business, then the idea is not to pursue excellence, clarity, or honesty, but to appear as if you are. Through the appearance of full post-election transparency, more Democrats will be relevant and empowered to raise funds, participate as active and invested players throughout the campaign, spread across the country and even the world in virtual meetings, telling their stories, creating doubt about Trump's minions, and engaging with voters one by one, state by state, region by region, city by city, town by town, community by community, home by home. More importantly, This will push Trump off the main stage as they feed the media's day-by-day, minute-by-minute demand for new and different. A new plan and media strategy must be implemented now. The Democratic candidates and party need to plan and begin executing their election media strategy now if they hope to compete. They must control the setting and the story with a clear message and a tsunami of media noise. A full Democratic cast with its star, Joe Biden, at the forefront must stand together, each with their own role, focused on supporting, defending, and justifying a new president, a unified message, unified government, and unified nation. Trump's Vaudevillian Act will have run its course and will be given the hook only when the media has a bigger and better hit show over which it can obsess. Thank you for listening. I'm Jack Myers. Follow me at MediaVillage.com.